Chicago.
The Bears are a great answer. I'm going to go to the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens. 3-1. We thought this year was the year they were going to slowly transition away from Joe Flacco. Instead, Flacco's having his best year since their Super Bowl year. Their one loss, I mean, they've really played only one bad half of football all year. It was that first half against Cincinnati when they could not cover A.J. Green. 3-1 without Jimmy Smith, arguably their best back-end defensive player, who's now coming back. The Ravens sitting at 3-1 atop the AFC North, or tied with Cincinnati, I should say. To me, they are the biggest surprise.
And not because his brother coaches at Michigan, but John Harbaugh, man, is really underrated in the NFL. Like last year, they were thinking about getting rid of him. Underrated his leadership there in Baltimore.
All right, on the
also
other side.
Also the best Harbaugh, too.
On the other side of the coin.
Waiting for it.
Teams that have underwhelmed up to this point, with high expectations fading quickly as they land on the wrong side of 500. So you see, the most disappointing team through week 4 is blank.
Pittsburgh Steelers. They got Super Bowl aspirations. Really, they have the type of talent. They have the type of organizational support, but no one's been more disappointing. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get it.
The Steelers are the team I was leaning towards because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. And they right now don't look like a playoff team. But I'm going to go with the team that I think right now has to be most disappointed in themselves, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, week 1, first and goal, down, less than a touchdown. They take a loss. Week 2, they have an opportunity to win in regulation, and then they never touch the ball in overtime. They have a loss. And week 4, up less than a touchdown with 15 seconds left, and they take a loss. They are 2 plays and a coin flip away from potentially being 4-0. Instead, they're sitting there at 1-3 with the offense humming.
But at least they have 2/3 of the team figured out. Their special teams and their offense is playing great. The reason why they haven't won is because of injuries. That's not something Dan Quinn. Pittsburgh, what's their excuse?
Oh, I totally don't blame the Falcons for the spot they're in. I agree with you there. You said Dan Quinn was talking about how injured they were before the game you called. Yes. And in the game you called, they lost another back-end defender, Ricardo Allen, to the season. It's just, despite those injuries, they've been so close to overcoming it. Now they're sitting at 1-3. That's a hard hole to climb out of in the NFC.
All right, we're going to end with the Le'Veon Bell saga with his continued holdout. The Steelers are reportedly actively shopping the star running back, looking to get at least a second-round pick and a player in return. So, Nick, Le'Veon Bell's team at the end of the season will be blank.
If they are going to trade him, I think the Colts are the team that have the need and the ammunition. Remember, the Colts added all those extra second-round picks when they traded back in the draft with the Jets. So the Jets are a team that might want him, but the Jets don't have second-round pick. The Colts have extra second-round picks. Andrew Luck's never had a quality running back with him. He had to throw the ball 62 times this weekend. So the Colts have the cap space to sign him long-term after the year, the draft picks, and the need. If he moves on from Pittsburgh, if they move on from him, I think Indy makes sense.
Last year, the general manager was Executive of the Year, Howie Roseman, Philadelphia. He made a trade. Jay Ajayi traded him. Also, I'll trade Jay Ajayi cross state. Send him a bus ticket. Send him to Pittsburgh, get Le'Veon Bell, and potentially try to sign him. But I don't have to. I don't have to sign him. I would still trade the second-round pick because I'm going to lose probably Jay Ajayi anyway. But I would take that chance of putting him inside that locker room long-term Eagles trade.
That would be a blockbuster.
Wow.
Cross state.
All right, got to take a break. How much trouble are the Steelers in after losing to the Ravens? That's next. This is First Things First.
Guys, this may be the last time you ever have to think about hair loss. Because I'm telling you, Bosley is the real deal. They're giving men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started on the hair gain train is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text REST to 654-654. Check them out now. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Dude, this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part, Bosley's solution is permanent. You're going to love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting REST to 654-654. Don't forget, that's REST to 654-654.
Horsepower isn't just for NASCAR. It's for your car. It's for off-road and the on-ramp. You need it when you're drifting. You want it when you're passing. K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed. Shop now at knfilters.com.
Plaque psoriasis can be relentless. Tremfya is for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. With Tremfya, you can get clearer and stay clearer. In fact, most patients who saw 90% clearer skin at 28 weeks stayed clearer through 48 weeks. Tremfya works better than Humira at providing clearer skin, and more patients were symptom-free with Tremfya.
Tremfya may lower your ability to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or have symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Before starting Tremfya, tell your doctor if you plan to or have recently received a vaccine.
Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Tremfya, because you deserve to stay clearer. Janssen wants to help you explore cost support options.
Bud Lights for everyone.
I prefer an ice mead.
Barkeep, Bud Lights for everyone and a mead.
Is it autumnal?
Bud Light, for the many, not the few.
Crispy chicken tenders from Burger King? That's right, crispy on the outside with juicy white meat on the inside. The King's got great chicken, but don't take our word for it. The crispy chicken tenders, now part of the 2 for $6 deal only at Burger King.
When I was shopping for car insurance, the choice was easy. I switched to Geico and saved hundreds. Excuse me.
Winner.
That's a win, but it's not the only reason I switched. Hi. Geico has licensed agents who I can reach 24/7. Great savings and round-the-clock service. Now that's a win-win.
Winner, winner.
Yay, me. Oh, hi. Good luck.
Switch to Geico. It's a win-win.
On Saturday, we've got a big day of college football. First, it is the Red River Showdown between number 19 Texas and number 7 Oklahoma. Then Indiana takes on third-ranked Ohio State. Coverage begins at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
How about Kyler Murray? Bench for the first series, then comes on and lights them up yesterday.
Oh, yeah, a little team discipline. Let them sit out the first series. You know what it is. They ain't going to say what it is publicly, but, hey, sit on over here with me, son.
They say he overslept. Alarm clock issue is what they're saying.
Sounds like Nick Wright.
Oh, how dare.
Time for us to go viral. Phil Mickelson went 0-2 at the Ryder Cup this weekend, and Europe went on to dominate the U.S. to regain the cup. And not all was lost for America, with Bubba Watson posting this video. Oh, of Phil Mickelson high-kicking a water bottle on Zach Johnson's head.
Nah, man.
That is indecent.
That's a level of trust I don't think I have with any human being. They're just going to let you roundhouse kick right in front of my face? What if Phil pulls a hammy? Well,
first you have to have a hammy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think, your hammy has to be developed.
If Phil doesn't have to worry about that.
Well, it was developed. I think he let it go.
A little
It's been a long time since he's been running.
How many beverages do you think for both these guys were consumed before this was attempted?
Yeah, the Ryder Cup looked like they had a good time. I'm more about the pants. I'm more concerned about the pants than the kick.
Yeah,
those look like those Zubaz pants they brought back.
Yeah, Zubaz pants.
With the lines and everything.
Yeah. I had a pair of Zubaz Chiefs pants growing up.
Yeah, you tried to wear a pair last week.
No, again,
Danielle dressing.
First I'm late to work, now I'm wearing Zubaz pants as a grown man.
All true. Nick runs late, and Nick is not a good dresser. Thank God to Danielle.
Oh, my gosh.
Time for stories to start your morning. Titans outlast the Eagles in overtime 26-23. Both quarterbacks threw 2 touchdowns and over 300 yards. Nick, how surprised were you that the Titans upset the Eagles?
More surprising than my partner's lying on me again. Listen, the Titans are a good team. This is a team that has had really bad quarterback play for a month due to injury and just ineffectiveness. And they came out of this month 3-1. It's not like they had their one loss was the game you did, the monsoon game, 7 hours long. But to me, this is more about Philly. Philly's been bad on the back end of their defense every game this season. And they're up 17-3 on
Totally in control of this game.
And they give it away, man.
Mike Vrabel's doing a good job there with the Tennessee Titans. The only playoff team from last year that decides we're going to change our coach. So in his initial, as a head coach, has never been a head coach at any level. Vrabel's doing a great job to have the grit, determination to keep this team in the game, and they've had a lot of injuries. Had the wide receiver, Rashad Matthews, quit last week. Their second best guy. Lost their best receiver in Delaney Walker in the Miami game. So, man, what he's doing there is pretty special.
All right, on to the Packers and the Bills. Packers and those throwbacks. They shut out Buffalo 22-0 behind nearly 300 yards passing from Aaron Rodgers. Rookie Josh Allen struggled in his third start, throwing for 151 yards and 2 picks. See, how do you think Aaron Rodgers looked?
He looked a lot better. You can see he's starting to practice now. He participated in Thursday's workout, so it's getting a little more mobility in that lead leg, his left leg that he injured. But as long as he doesn't have a setback, this is what you're going to need, especially when the weather starts to change. If that leg gets stiff, I like the progress that he's made, and he hadn't had anything that would allow him to set back. I like to see him practice Wednesdays. And then we'll start to see more mobility in that leg.
And I liked what he said after the game, that he wasn't satisfied, that he thought the offense had to do much better. Now, obviously, he's very pleased with the defense shutting out Buffalo. But I also watched this game, and I couldn't help but think about the Packers' rivals in the Vikings and what an awful missed opportunity it was a week ago. Because Buffalo is as bad as we thought they were. That Viking game we're going to look back on as the oddest result of the season.
All right, moving on. Seahawks got a win over the Cardinals, but a key loss as well. Earl Thomas fractured his leg in the fourth quarter. As he was carted off the field, he flipped off the Seattle sideline. His season is over, most likely his career in Seattle as well. CC, what was your reaction to this?
Well, Earl's got a lot of respect around the league. He's been a class act, even when he went to the University of Texas as an All-American there, came to Seattle. Since he's been to Seattle, we've had issues with other guys, blow-ups in the locker room with the press. We haven't had anything with Earl Thomas. His brand is a positive brand, and you can see a lot of guys getting carted off in the NFL, but you don't see the opposition come up to the cart.
Right.
You don't see his teammates all the time come up to the cart like Earl. That's respect around the league. So this is not a good look. Earl, your days in Seattle are over with, but your brand continues, all right? So protect your brand, man, all right? I know you're upset and disappointed, but protect yourself.
Listen, I get the frustration. This is obviously what Earl was worried about. It's one of the reasons he wanted an extension, and it's got to be incredibly frustrating to re-break the same leg that you already have a steel rod in. I do hate that one of the greatest players in the history of the Seahawks franchise, this is the final image of him, because he won't play another game for Seattle. We all know that. And now, at least in the short term, the lasting image is him not only being carted off, but being carted off while flipping off the sideline, even if it's understandable frustration.
All right, let's end with Sunday Night Football. Steelers and Ravens. Joe Flacco led the way for Baltimore, throwing for 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big Ben struggled throwing a pick and a touchdown. Turns out the Steelers do, in fact, miss Le'Veon Bell. Ravens win it 26-14. Roethlisberger did not sugarcoat his performance after the game.
I don't think I'm on the same page as anybody right now because I'm not playing well enough. I need to play better. Today was just a bad day at the office. We've all had them. I had one today, and I promise I'll be back to play better. Because I didn't play well enough today to win the football game, and then I let the guys down.
All right, guys, what went so wrong for Big Ben and the Steelers yesterday?
Well, Big Ben didn't play well, but Ben, get over yourself, all right? For one, the defense was bad, and that's not Ben's fault. So he just said, oh, I let all the guys down. I told you guys when we started this, Ben is about the drama, all right? Now,
he likes hearing himself talk.
Sometimes he likes to put more, but this defense has not been good. Their pass defense has not been good. So do they miss Bell? Every team misses good players. Like, there's no replacement for a good player. Even Nick Foles filling in last year, he is not Carson Wentz. Now, the Eagles didn't win yesterday, but if they know, oh, we thinking about going back to Nick Foles? No, absolutely not, because the starter is a lot better. It's the same way in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got some real problems as far as that offensive line. And when you don't have a running attack or a threat to run, you can commit more people to pass coverage.
Yes.
And you could see Baltimore. They weren't concerned about a run. They was going to give them the run. That's the way in Connor's best game, game number 1 against the Browns gave him the run. That's why he had that big day. But since then, teams are you can run him. Give him the carries. But Pittsburgh won't run him enough to be able to create the man-to-man to make him go 7 in the box. Then so we can throw the ball outside. So that combination right there, it's going to be a struggle for them. But with them having Super Bowl expectations, they just have not come out of the camp the way you would hope that a team with those types of end of the season ambition that they would have right there. They haven't not played like the veteran team that we expect.
I thought this was a get-right game for Pittsburgh. I thought we'd look at it. They're on national TV at home. Big Ben never loses these games. 21-3 in his career. Primetime games at Heinz Field.
Baltimore does know him well.
Baltimore, right. They play them close typically.
Yes.
But the ones in Pittsburgh wins these games. And I thought we'd say, okay, look, there was another drama-filled first month of the season for the Steelers. They'd like to be 3-1 and said they're 2-1. No. This game, they lost it twice. And that's what's so, I think, frustrating if you're a Steelers fan. They lost it by immediately letting the Ravens jump out on top of them. But then they got a reprieve. An enormous goal line fumble by Baltimore when they are trying to go up 3 scores. And the Steelers get it 14-14 going into the half. And in the second half, you have 47 yards. You don't cross midfield once. You don't cross midfield. You don't convert a single third down. And to C's point, Le'Veon Bell's absence is not just felt in the fact that they ran the ball 11 times for 19 yards. It's felt in the fact that Antonio Brown is being limited, that the passing game is being limited, because when Le'Veon Bell is out there, it's what makes any team that has a super elite running back to go along with a super elite wide receiver and quarterback. You have to pick your poison. It's what teams right now are dealing with the Los Angeles Rams. Who are we going to worry about? The other guy's going to beat us. Nobody's worried about James Conner. I understand it's a great story. I know he's a cancer survivor. I know he's from the area. I get it. But since game 1, he has 32 carries for 97 yards. And other teams are just saying, okay, James Conner, go beat us.
Okay, so now you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do? You know you're probably not going to get Lev Bell back, at least until maybe week 10. You got to figure some way out to get your guys open. What's the game plan moving forward? How do you fix this?
Oh, they got to play better defense, first of all. I mean, if you're getting all those big plays against your defense, we're going to always talk about Pittsburgh and their offense and everything, but it's hard when you don't have an elite guy. It's hard. You can't change your offense because they are a spread 3-receiver team. Also, do they miss Martavius Bryant on the outside? Because the other guys, they're not as consistent. James Washington, the Blitnikoff winner, is he consistent enough to be that third wide receiver? So not only can they not run the ball effectively, they're not dominating when they're in 3 receiver sets. So that becomes a problem. This is all they got, though. You can't go out and get a whole new team. So they got to adapt to the personnel that they have.
And the defense is going to be a problem all year long. It's been a problem since Shazier got hurt. They had an offseason to fix that. They didn't. And if you didn't watch last night's game, it was worse than 26 points allowed. Baltimore got in the red zone 5 times and scored 1 touchdown. Every single drive Baltimore had in the second half, they got past the Steelers' 50-yard line. They were moving the ball. The Steelers couldn't stop their run, and they made Joe Flacco look great. The Steelers' defense is a season-long problem. The offense will be better than it was yesterday, but that's an enormous home loss against your rivals.
All right, let's move on to the Raiders and Browns now. Tight one here. Baker Mayfield throwing for 2 touchdowns, also turned the ball over, though, 4 times. But the Browns had a chance to win this one, failing to pick up a critical third down that would have ended the game. Cleveland forced to punt. Raiders took advantage. Derek Carr finds Jared Cook for the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. That tied the game at 42. Raiders would kick a field goal in overtime for their first win of the season. Take a listen to John Gruden after the game.
Feels like my first win in 100 years. You know, it's just great to be back. I thank our fans for hanging in there with us. There's a lot of, like I said, ups and downs, but to get that field goal with our third-string kicker, backup snapper, never been so nervous on a 29-yard field goal in my life.
Yeah, they scored enough points to win, but we gave them the opportunity to do so. You know, we turned the ball over too many times, gave them a chance. And in this league, when you turn the ball over like we did today, like I did, you're not going to win those games. And so we saw the end result of that.
There's a lot you can pinpoint here as to why the Raiders won this game and the Browns lost. Was it Baker's turnovers? Was it the officiating? What would you say was the key to this game?
The turnovers. I never like to blame officials because typically you're talking about one call during the game. And there's 65 plays offensively, about 20 to 30 plays special teams-wise, another 65 to 70 on the defensive side. Those plays in the third quarter when they had the 2-touchdown lead, when they turned the football over inside the 10-yard line, pressure off his right side, his tackle gets knocked into him, trying to throw, he fumbles the football. Then the interception at the 25-yard line to be able to go in. NFL teams, if you tell them they can go 10 yards and score a touchdown, 20 yards and score a touchdown, it's going to be hard to win games. Turnovers are bad, but when you turn the ball over in your own red zone, it's going to be hard to win games. So collectively, I didn't like the play calls. They were backed up inside the 10-yard line. First play, a pass play. Now, I don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish by throwing the ball that deep, because if they run the ball 3 times in punt, they're not going to lose. If they don't throw the interception in the red zone, they're not going to lose. So I didn't like the play calling. You have to protect young quarterbacks, and this is a team that is not used to winning. The coaching staff, the players, and that's what I see late in these games, a team that's not used to, how do I close out an NFL team?
The Browns had every opportunity. Steve's right. The turnovers were killers, and despite the turnovers, you saw Baker, I think, once again take a step in the direction of being a star in this league. He made some tough throws, some big throws. They scored 42 points. Like that, the offense wasn't the problem despite the turnovers. And I also am not a guy that loves to say the officials blew this game. But there were 2 plays that one, the game is over. They called it a first down. They then booth review. I've always thought the booth review or any challenge was to fix an obvious error. I didn't think there was even a non-obvious error. I didn't think there was an error. And that they overturn it, then they have to punt. The Raiders end up scoring. But the in the grasp sack that was taken away, fumble that was taken away, see, we talk all the time about is professional football. We ask our coaches, we ask our players to be playing at the highest level imaginable. That play right there, being called in the grasp, that's not professional officiating.
Well, this is the thing about, I can understand a mistake right there. If you look at the umpire, the referee who comes in on the play, he doesn't see the ball. His vision is to the right. All he sees is a quarterback being smashed by 3 guys, and they're in the dirt part of that field. So I could see why he didn't want them lifting him up. So as soon as they converged on him, he blew it dead. Now the ball's the other way. He's coming to the right side. You can see his hand up. He's blowing it dead. He's blowing it in the possession. He didn't see the football. And once he blows it dead,
it's dead. I get it. There's no going back.
So I can understand refs on that play. When you have the quarterback who's converged on from 3 different angles, I could understand him blowing the play dead, especially in that baseball part of that field. You do not want that quarterback getting dumped on his head on that dirt. So I could understand him erring on the side of getting in there early. It's a bad look. It's a bad call. But I can live with that call.
And this was, by the way, the Raiders had one of these go against them as well. Like, they had a very quick whistle in this game, oddly. Like, Marshawn Lynch was out on the sideline. He wasn't in the dirt part of the field, and he's Marshawn Lynch. We're not trying to protect running backs the way we are quarterbacks. He's about to break an enormous
He was tied
play.
up with 2 defenders. The refs don't know if he's going to be. He was tied up with 2 defenders.
Right, but would you agree it was a quick whistle? A quicker whistle than we usually have? Like, I get it.
It was a quick whistle. I didn't think he was going anywhere. So you don't know either when the whistle blows, how much do the defenders stop?
Right up. Sure, absolutely.
Because that's a real thing.
We hold all these guys to a really high standard, and those were, in my opinion, 2 awful missed calls. One affected the Browns, one affected the Raiders. But the one at the end of the game, it's just a pet peeve of mine. You can't use replay to get something wrong. Like, it has to be there to correct an obvious mistake, even if you think the ball should have been changed. It was not an obvious mistake. The Browns are taking knees after that if they don't overturn it.
In so doing, the Raiders picking up their first win of the season. Coming up, did the Cowboys find the key to their success? Finally, that's next. We'll talk about that. First things first.
Shrimp is back at Red Lobster, with all the shrimp you want, any way you want them. There's new sesame ginger grilled shrimp with savory soy ginger sauce and sprinkled with Asian seasoning and favorites like garlic shrimp scampi. But endless shrimp won't last endlessly, so hurry in.
I got a million ways to get it. Choose one. Choose one. Hey, bring it back, bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack.
Maybe I'm a Division I athlete, or a father of two. Maybe I run marathons, or a startup, or nothing at all. Maybe what I do doesn't matter. Maybe all that matters is what I do next. Peloton.
Want to save money on pet food and supplies? Shop online at Chewy.com.
When I shop at Chewy.com, I know I'm getting an amazing deal on my pet's food.
I save on my dog's food, their treats, their toys. At Chewy.com, you'll always find low prices on your favorite brands. Plus, you get fast, free 1 to 2 day shipping.
Prices are important to me because I have 4 dogs, and Chewy saves me money.
I just found my dog's food for less than what I buy it in the store.
I love Chewy.com. Save 20% on your first order and get fast, free 1 to 2 day shipping. Start saving today at Chewy.com.
You're headed down the highway when the guy in front slams on his brakes out of nowhere. You do too, but not in time. Hey, no big deal. You got a good record, and Liberty Mutual won't hold a grudge by raising your rates over one mistake. You hear that, Karen? Liberty Mutual doesn't hold grudges. How mature of them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
They're here.
Yeah, big plans for this planet.
Scientists who want to keep Mars untouched will have to fight.
What you're doing is not right.
Mars new season premieres Monday, November 12th at 9 on National Geographic.
This Thursday on FS1. Let's go! The Division Series begins. The NLDS live on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Oh, you finally fixed the chair.
You know it.
Whoa! Gorilla Glue, of course.
Gorilla Glue expands into the materials to form an incredibly strong bond for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Search for a really strong glue that's clear.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Clear glue. Clear Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue strength in a crystal clear formula for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Montel here. You know, life comes at you fast. Melissa suddenly has medical bills. Ramon's car needs repair. And that's life. And that's how Money Mutual was designed, where you can find a lender to help get you up to $2,500 in as little as 24 hours. And you don't need to have perfect credit. Over 2 million people have turned to Money Mutual to find a lender when they needed cash fast. Life is fast, but Money Mutual is faster. Money Mutual, at the speed of life.
This service is not available in New York or to New York borrowers due to interest rate limits under New York law.
Ever wonder why the quarterback is often the best-looking guy on a team? Think about it. Who gets the ball in the playground in the 4th or 5th grade? The handsome kid. The girls think he's cute, the boys think he's cool, and this process begins.
You dropping off or picking up?
You know, the thing about dynasties, people say they don't like them, but they watch them.
Back here, first things first, Undistuped.